Welcome to Craft and Cocktails, brought to you by LimeLight Wired. We are thrilled to bring you our very first episode. Grab a drink. This week, we're sitting down with Ed Shore, Managing Director of Neico and formerly the Director of Video Production for Hakkasan Group. Ed's extensive list of credits include Above and Beyond, Coachella, Deadmau5, and the immersive video installation SPLNTR. I know he's the one you came here to listen to, so let's talk to Ed.
Okay. Ed, hey, it's good to meet you. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking the classic Stella Artois.
Very nice. I went the path of a Boulevardier.
Oh, very nice.
Vermouth and rye. Ed, where are you from?
I'm from Birmingham in England. Currently living in Las Vegas. Been here for just over 7 years now. 7 years, start of April.
And how did you find the way to entertainment, or how did you find the dark side there?
Well, originally, so I went to university and I specialised in video editing in the end, but we studied multimedia, so it was everything from photography, fine art, screen printing, graphic design, but then kind of fell into video editing, video effects with After Effects, which we were learning there. We actually learned to edit on After Effects, which it wasn't until I got out of university. I was like, why were we doing that?
Who edits in After Effects?
Yeah. So then when I came out of there, I'd always been interested in clubbing, probably a little bit too much when I was younger. And my girlfriend at the time was working on the door for God's Kitchen in Birmingham. They were looking for someone to go and do some filming. So I went in there one night, did some filming, kind of pretended that I was a cameraman or any kind of videographer, which I wasn't. Started talking to the LD. They just had a VHS player going through an old Panasonic MX-25 or something, I think it was. Well, they'd get to the end of the VHS and they have to rewind it and start again. It's a pretty basic setup. And then I just kind of started fiddling with some knobs. Wow, this is great. Kind of went back every Friday and Saturday night for probably 4 months. And then they started paying me.
Right. I think that we would be lucky if a quarter of the people that follow LimeLight Wired know what a VHS is. I'm as guilty as you. A lot of gray hair here.
Yeah, grey beard's coming on. I think it's this all the lockdown.
This is new to me as well. Yeah. Pandemic gray. What did you shoot? So when you go into this club, right, and you're pretending to be a videographer, this is a new stab for you. Were we digital, or are you talking like I
think it was probably a mini DV. Yeah, it would have been mini DV at the time. I honestly can't remember what I filmed or what it was used for, or if it was ever used for anything. I just remember going in there to do that and then finding my way into VJing.
When did it stop being VHS?
Probably not for a little while, actually. I brought in another VHS player so I could actually mix between the two. Started making my own content to that, and then DVD. And I remember very clearly we were doing Polysexual, which was like God's Kitchen's hard house night. We were doing it at Nation, where Cream was in Liverpool. Some guy just came up to me and goes, "You know that you can do this all on a laptop now?" I was like, "What?"
What? Go on.
Mine kind of blown. It was Archaos.
Wow.
So then got Archaos, and then everything went digital from then on, really.
When did you come across the pond?
7 years ago. Ever since like day one with God's Kitchen, I've been working with them, doing various tours like the Boombox, which is an amazing show, which was done with 1024 architecture. So they're an amazing company in if you don't know them, in Paris. So we toured with that for a long time. I was doing all their festivals, the Global Gathering festivals, Sander Kleinenberg amongst others. A lot of them kind of came across here because Neil Moffat, who started God's Kitchen, started Angel Management Group, then brought over James Oldgate, Andrea Frey, and then me. I was brought over to open up Hakkasan. It was still under construction when I moved here. And I think it was about another 2 or 3 months before that opened. I was house VJ there and director of video production. Then when OMNIA was being built, I went over to OMNIA, and then I was there until 2 years ago. And then just quit to focus on touring. Well, touring a little bit, but mainly production content production.
How has the workflow changed? Obviously VHS to a laptop. But how have you evolved your process as the pixel spaces have gotten bigger and the resolution's gotten tighter?
It depends on the show, really. But if it's like some of the stuff we do is custom content along with library content that we use, or standard VJ content for different DJs. Usually Resolume for live VJ stuff. I like Chaser and you know those kind of things, and now StageFlow.
I don't know this program.
StageFlow is amazing. It's made by Joris, who was at Resolume. He also made Chaser, and it's an amazing way of mapping and positioning content around a stage and being able to change different maps on the fly with MIDI very, very easily. And you can rock up to a huge festival and do it really, really quickly and have loads of flexibility when you're actually VJing. It's great.
Are you leaning on generative content for the VJ stuff specifically, or is it all pre-baked?
No, it's all pretty much all pre-made. It's some of them are time coded, some of them are specific tracks. Other is like generic content with specific moments and elements within certain tracks which you have to hit. So, for example, with Above and Beyond, most of their tracks or all of their big tracks have got specific content. It's not time coded, but you have a structure for how you play the content. Duke Dumont is all time code, and then Deadmau5, most of the tracks it's kind of the same as Above and Beyond. Most of the tracks are specific content, but there's certain elements you have to hit live rather than it being time coded. And
how are you anticipating those? Is it simply muscle memory from doing the show over and over and over, or how do you see it coming? What do you know what's next?
Well, it's a lot of it is how it's laid out in Resolume and muscle memory. Above and Beyond's quite straightforward to do because you know what's coming. The tracks don't really change. Duke Dumont is obviously time code, so that's easy. It's still manually selecting which track is going to be playing next. And using StageFlow is changing the map for that specific content, so it looks right and it changes for the multiple screens. Deadmau5 is a little bit more tricky because you can't use something like TC Supply. He's using Ableton, and a lot of it's done live.
Okay.
Also, some of the lead-ins to multiple tracks are quite similar, or the mix that uses between tracks is quite similar. So sometimes it's a little bit difficult to judge on that. So Colin's the LD. Well, he usually gives me a bit of a nudge because he's been doing it a lot longer than I have. And then once the track's in, then it usually follows the same format, so you can do all those little elements in the right place and right order, hopefully.
Do you get to work with a set list, or are you taking it as it comes?
Deadmau5 is a very loose set list. It's kind of like, it might be a little bit like this show, but you never really know. Above and Beyond, they give you a set list, and Duke Dumont, well, that's time coded, so it doesn't really matter. You can see what's coming next.
Do you have a little flexibility in playback to get on beat if you are a little bit off in the moments you've got to hit? Do you have any chance of recovery?
Yeah. There's various tricks you can do. But some of them are just like a very small hit, like you'll have one word which comes up. So that's just muscle memory. The Above and Beyond content isn't always necessarily on beat. It's like it lasts for the right amount of time, but it has some buffer to it. So it's not like Duke Dumont stuff is very like, if there's a beat, it's like bam, 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 bam. And like with the content fits to it. But with Above and Beyond, it's more kind of flowy with the music. So it's not so noticeable it's not really noticeable if you don't quite hit it. But all the drops and breakdowns are very obvious, unlike the Deadmau5 stuff, which is a little bit more tricky sometimes.
Be sure to check out Part 2. We'll be diving deeper into the projects we mentioned. We'll learn more about SPLNTR and Coachella, and we'll learn about leaving a full-time job for freelance work. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already.